Back in the day, there was this really great hockey player who played for the Vancouver Canucks named Todd Bertuzzi. But for the longest time, he wasn't all that great. So the way they framed it was that he had all the tools, but he didn't have the right toolbox, right? So he was big, he was fast, he had good hands, but he couldn't put it together consistently in a game setting over a long period of time. And all of a sudden, he flipped a switch, and all of a sudden he became great. Became one of the greatest players in the game, certainly the greatest power forward in the game at that particular time. And the local media, they asked him, like, what happened? What flipped the switch for you? The way he explained it was like, look, basically what happened, I stopped worrying. Just to paraphrase what he said was that I stopped worrying. What would happen was that I would play a game and say it was a bad game. What would happen is I would stew over it. In the meantime, we're playing more games. There's like a second game and a third game and a fourth game, but because I'm still stewing over the bad game I played, those other games would be bad too. And so I learned to just kind of turn the page. Okay, you played a bad game. Maybe it was a horrible game. Instead of feeling bad about it, instead of stewing over your mistakes, learn from the mistake and then make a resolution of what will I do differently to avoid a similar outcome in the future. And that's how he became great, as opposed to merely good. Similar principle applies when it comes to spiritual life, right? It goes to the nature of what it means to be contrite, what it means to be sorry. A lot of times in the context of the spiritual life, we think that to be sorry means that I feel bad. I feel guilty, I feel shame, I just don't feel good when I think about my sinfulness or the fact that I'm a sinner before the Lord. Contrition actually means that I have a firm purpose of amendment. What can I do differently in the future to possibly avoid a similar outcome? If you have that, then you're truly contrite, quite apart from how you feel. And you can take it one step further. So the devil, in a certain sense, his power is rooted in fear. Just think it through, even reflecting back on your own experience. When you're feeling shame, when you're feeling bad, when you're heavily steeped in guilt, and you're just consumed with those negative feelings, you're actually more likely to fall into sin as opposed to less likely. And that's why it's really important, even in the aftermath of serious sin, that you stay self-possessed. Get back on the horse, make a firm resolution to do something differently to avoid a similar outcome in the future, as opposed to simply feeling bad. Because, to quote St. Paul on the cross, the devil loves to work in troubled waters.